course, with the increase of technology, social media, AI and whatever else, our privacy is, let's just say, going down the pan. I mean, 1984 was, if I remember rightly, a novel by George Orwell, and it was meant to be a warning, not a bloody instruction manual, so it's a pity that the government doesn't realise this, because they are now, according to this article, going to do something which could actually make people think that not only is their privacy on the line, but they could be followed everywhere they go outside. So what am I going on about then? Well, according to this article, it says that the first permanent facial recognition cameras are to go up in London despite a dystopian warning. Now, obviously, as we all know, presumably, and you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that this is being done for safety, to protect us from the bad guys, or perhaps to do that rare thing in catching criminals. And I'm not talking about the people that they see as criminals putting hurty words on Facebook, but anyway, permanent facial recognition cameras are coming to London, despite campaigners warning that this is the first step towards a dystopian nightmare. Apparently, Croydon is the first to see the city and the rest of the democratic world's first permanent live facial recognition, the LFRs, placed to scan faces and match them to a criminal database. They will sit attached to lampposts or on buildings on pedestrianised streets, and just a short walk away from where schoolgirl Elaine Adam was stabbed to death outside Whitgift Centre. And there has been a relief among residents and shoppers who hope that the cameras will help bring down the rate of crime keeping them up at night, and I hope personally that it will do. However, you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that rules were put in place so they just can't just pick on the average person, thinking, oh, what's he up to, and then getting his details up. Indeed, that's what they'd be doing. Just last year, it says, Croydon was named as the violence hotspot of London, with more than 10,000 violent crimes recorded in a 6-month period. And Oshka, I hope I pronounced the right, Murphy, 60, has lived in the borough for 17 years and is relieved more is being done to make the area safe again. And the cleaning lady told Metro that every day I pray for my grandchildren to come home safe. Crime is out of control. We just saw what happened to Elaine Adnam, and she was just an innocent girl. I used to work at Croydon Station. I've seen young people stabbing each other, and it's only getting worse. The high street is a mess. I personally think they should be clamping down on all this. I mean, admittedly, yes, it may reassure people that some cameras are going to be put up that will be able to detect faces and presumably help identify any bad guys. However, why don't they tackle it at the source? Put more police on the street as a deterrent, a physical deterrent, because they'll be in view, rather than people think, oh, there's a camera up there, look. That is what needs to be done, in my opinion. And admittedly, yes, they might say, oh, we haven't got the money for that, but just think how much these cameras must have cost. And as I said earlier, what about the everyday person who is just going about their daily business, has never been in trouble with the police at all? Hopefully, they won't have to worry about getting their face scanned, although the point is, they shouldn't have to be in a situation where they're identifiable if they're not doing anything wrong, eh? Says here that have LFR cameras been used in London before? Well, the idea of the cameras will not be completely new to residents either. The Met's facial recognition vans will zip all over the city and apparently stop in Croydon once a week, watching shoppers come and go to Costa and Superdrug. But are the cameras going to be the saving grace of one of London's most crime-riddled areas? Don't hold your breath, apparently, says Big Brother Watch. And get this, last month facial recognition software was installed across Cardiff for the Six Nation Games. But despite scanning 162,680 faces, not a single arrest was made, according to the organisation. So it just makes you wonder, doesn't it, what the whole bloody point is? At the end of the day, yes, cameras are for people's safety. At least that's how they should be anyway. Apparently, Big Brother Watch frequently visitors Croydon to watch over how the police were using that technology, and what they saw wasn't a sign of good things to come. According to this anyway. But just what are the concerns of these new cameras? Well, Madeline Stone, a senior advocacy officer at the organisation, told the Metro that the law needs to change to catch up with the technology first, as there is no legislation governing, apparently, the use of facial recognition cameras. The police has essentially been let off the leash and can do whatever they want with this, Madeline said. Everyone gets something wrong sometimes, but what happens when the algorithm gets it wrong? Who's responsible then, she says? And in May, a legal challenge was launched against the police after an anti-knife crime community worker was wrongly flagged and detained by police following misidentification. So it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? How accurate are these LFR cameras going to be? If something like this happened, it's just quite worrying, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? Sean Thompson was wrongly flagged as a wanted person by the Metropolitan Police facial recognition database outside the London Bridge station. He was held by officers apparently for almost 30 minutes, who repeatedly demanded scans of his fingerprints and threatened him with arrest, despite him showing multiple identity documents, further evidence than that he was not the individual on the facial recognition database. And you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that a little bit of police work would be able to go on here. Oh, hang on, a driver's license. Yes, that is an official document. Oh, hang on, that's his picture on there. Oh, he's got bank cards as well with his name on. And maybe a passport or whatever IDs he used. The police surely should have used a bit of good old-fashioned police work rather than relying on something which, let's face it, wasn't up to the task.